Hi guys, my name is Sean. I'm a houseplant enthusiast from Jakarta, Indonesia. In today's video, we'll be doing advanced propagation for this Philodendron Glorious that you see behind me. It is actually a hybrid between the Melanochrysum and the Gloriosum. So it's got both traits of the parent, except Gloriosum is one that wants to vine on, is a terrestrial philodendron, and Melanochrysum is one that actually wants to climb. And as you can see here, it is a rather prolific climber. And for more basic propagations, please do check back my other video in the catalog, because I've been a YouTuber for 4 years, so I've done a lot of those basic propagation videos. Because today we'll do something a little bit more crazy, but it is applicable to all your other type of climbing aeroid. Now this plant here, it was grounded when I moved into this home, so it is like they're rooted all the way in the ground, and it was given the opportunity to climb up this green wall behind me. Unfortunately, I did not keep an eye out for it, so it is not really adhering to the wall behind it, and it's like vining everywhere. It's going up and around, and it's doing its thing. So what I'm going to do in this episode is propagate it into multiple plants, and then I'll have another opportunity to grow them in a better situation, hopefully, because this corner here is getting rather low light. If you ask me, it's got like 2 walls on the side, and it's like under a shelf here, so it's not getting ideal light. And you can see here, it is having a little bit of infection, and those splotches that you see on the leaves, this is actually fungicide and also some neem oil, because I wanted to have this propagation going on, so I made sure I sprayed so it doesn't have any pests or other kind of fungal infections on it as we propagate it. Now for the care of this plant, it is the same with all your other popular aeroids. Bright indirect light, give it something to climb on, and for the potting mix, give it something chunky and airy. It would really love it. And water only when it's bone dry. It really hates water. It does need a bit of humidity, but not crazy amounts like your anthuriums. And as a rule of thumb, you do want to give your plants nutrients by fertilizing it lightly every now and then. And this is actually quite pest prone. I've had, I think, spider mites was it on this plant before, but it is not the end of the world if you have spider mites. Just treat them. They'll get over it, they'll recover. Plants will forgive you. So don't be hard on yourself if plants, like especially these velvety leaves, if they get spider mites on them. There's a plastic cup on there. About a month ago, I actually put it there and I dunked the roots into the cup. So now it is quite well rooted into the cup. This is because I do want to cut that off, that vine off. And when I cut it off, because that is actually the one that has a thick stem, it has got mature leaves. So I really want that to take off and be our main plant. And then for the remaining nodes, you can see coming down, we'll propagate single node cuttings, but I'm gonna do something extra. All right, as you can see, all these individual nodes, the leaves have died off, but then they are starting to put out this growing eye that is becoming more active. So this has the potential to become real full plants. I'm gonna sterilize a pair of knives that I'm gonna be using. You can put it over heat, or you can also use alcohol to spray it on. I also have this Keiki Paste. This is bought online randomly, but Keiki Paste is basically made for orchids so that their nodes can be activated. And honestly, this has been like a few months ago, like it's becoming oily, it's separating from the cream, and the liquid is separating. So I don't know if I can still use this. I'm gonna give it a quick mix, but you know what, I'm just gonna use it because I'm too cheap to go out and buy new ones. So I'm gonna try to mix this paste up. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply this to every growing eye of the plant. The science is that in contact with this, that node will activate. It will tell the plant node to wake up and grow new vines. Honestly, you don't need a science degree to know how to apply this to the growing eye. It's just gently rub it in. Liberally around the growing eye. Some of them are not activated yet, some of them are. And next thing we want to do is take out our knife and perform what we call notching. This is a cut above a growing eye, above a node, to, how do I do this without getting too sciencey? Because the apical bud is always going to promote growth on the top of the branch. So when you notch above a node, it actually prevents a kind of hormone that comes down that inhibits that node to activate. So we're trying to take out that hormone to make sure that it doesn't get in the way, to tell that bud to please sprout and spring into life. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but here's how you do it. So you basically want to find that node. So you want to cut about a quarter of the way through the branch, but remember, not cutting way too deep because that could be detrimental for the plant. But keep in mind that this cutting here can already take nutrient from the moss that is in. So the top cutting is actually quite safe. I'm gonna do another one over here. This is the growing eye, and I'm just gonna be notching a little bit above that. I'm gonna cut a quarter of the way, nothing more. And you just wanna do this with every growing eye. Okay, abort mission. So basically, what I did was I accidentally pulled this whole thing down a little bit too hard, and this notch here, it broke. It broke over here, so we're gonna move on to the operating table. We're gonna take this down. And yeah, we're gonna be propagating these off the main plant. Ooh, it smells really good. It smells like pepper, which I like a citrusy pepper. So yeah, for this plant, the rest of this plant, I'll just keep it on the wall. And I guess the weight was just way too much for it to handle, especially with the notching. So I'll just continue to wait for these to sprout its own leaves and branch out. Okay, whew, sorry about that. But as you can see here, this, all right, I guess this provides an opportunity for us to look at it up close. Again, this is the growing eye of the plant where I rubbed the Keiki Paste earlier. So this node has already been taken. I cannot divide it any further. So what I can do is, I can just take this out. I dropped that whole other lower vine. Take off the sheath here. And the best way moving forward for this would be to grow this in water because it has like barely any roots. So I found this vessel that would be very agreeable for this exact size. Look at that, it fits exactly like a glove. Look at that, it fits amazingly in there. This looks really, really cute actually. So we've got one more node here that I'm going to cut. And for this one, sterilize with a bit of activated charcoal. Like so. And then I will lay it on a bit of moss with the growing eye facing up. Okay. And I'm going to sterilize, and then I'm going to stick it back into the moss pot that it's in, and I'm just going to let this grow. Let this root and grow, and these have already activated nodes. So these two nodes should probably come out with ease because it's already got healthy roots. Now with this here, you do want to keep it in bright indirect light because it still is photosynthesizing. Do not put this in a dark place. Do not keep it too wet. It does not have any leaves. It does not need to photosynthesize too much. So just keep it very, very ever so slightly humid. Some people ask how short this internode should be. I would keep it as long as possible because, let me sterilize this, because it is still providing some food for the plant. It can kind of cannibalize from itself. There are some nutrients and energy stored up in these stems. I lay them gently on moss. Just a little bit of moss will do, and keeping the growing eye facing up. Okay, so there's that. I might actually not miss this yet. Maybe tomorrow morning I will kind of mist this gently. Look at that. They look so comfortable in there. Nice and cozy. Now for those of you new to the birds and the bees, a cutting looks like this. Normally you would have one healthy leaf. This leaf is not very healthy, but normally you would just have one that is at least healthy, and then you have all these aerial roots, and then you have one growing eye. This is where your new baby plant will come from, sprout from. So you don't really need the leaf and you don't really need the aerial roots because there's stored energy somehow in this node here. So this can actually sprout a plant perfectly. But of course, a leaf would help because it is still photosynthesizing, and if it develops roots, it will also help because the roots will help uptake nutrients and moisture into the new vine that's going to come out. But when you look at this here, I'm not very hopeful about these because these look like dried aerial roots. Yeah, they look like they're dried and dead, so I would not count on these aerial roots. But this cutting is still very, very viable, don't get me wrong. But this is just a little bit of a lower chance of survival. Right, so there's 3 nodes living in here, 1 with a leaf and 2 without. So to sum it up, we've got that main plant that is still attached to the wall. We've got this fella here, and it's like not trying to stay put. It's not staying put. And then we've got this here. This is a pretty strange propagation if you ask me, pretty strange project. And we've got this here. This is all gonna take up such weird spaces around the garden. And then we've got this one here. And I'll see you guys in a few months. Welcome to a 2-month update. There's a lot happening here and I can't wait to show you. First of all, this is the one that we had that one leaf, and that one leaf that was not doing well, it obviously died off. But look at that, in its place, 3 little plantlets have sprouted. So all of the little cuttings here, even those without the leaves, have sprouted. And then this one here, this one is a shallow tray filled with a few cuttings. We've got one really gorgeous leaf that came out, and then there's 2 more here that is coming out. You see all the growth point, very, very active. I can't wait to see baby leaves come out from this. So this is what I really like about plants and plant propagation. My houseplant addiction started from propagation. All right, next one. I'm actually super excited about this. I don't know if you remember from the video, we had this like bare vine here that had a growing eye that's active. These 2 leaves came from that one growing eye. So this one is actually sporting a very narrow leaf. This is what the Melanochrysum Gloriosum should probably look like, because the Melano has a longer face. But as you can see, all of these leaves have slightly different shapes. So that I find quite cute and fascinating. And this one here is also putting out another active growth point. So this will probably sprout in no time. And actually it might be wise for me to start fertilizing this. I remember I did not fertilize this at all, but it's got enough roots and it's got like leaves. So it's going to start to need a little bit of nutrients. But this is so cute. And this is actually grown down and up. So where possible, I try to grow the growing eye facing up, but sometimes when they're facing down, it'll still find a way to come up. And I saved this bad boy for last. Look at this. This is the top cutting. I actually moved this. This was propagated in water, but it grew a lot of roots in no time. And I moved it into pot and forgot that I was filming this, so I just kind of repotted it without thinking. But this is putting out a gorgeous new leaf here. How cute. It's almost as big as my face, actually. So yeah, this is going to do well. As you can see, it's trying to climb, so I might have to give this a pole soon. I don't even know what I'm gonna do with so many plants, but as you can see, my green wall here is becoming a little bit bare, so I might like place these plants sort of everywhere. But this one is doing really, really well. Yeah. And yes, of course, we're going to be talking about the mother plant. As you can see here, it's put out like active growth points here. And some more has shown up over here as well. Now I have a feeling that if we just cut it off as single nodes, these would activate as leaves much faster than if I kept it on. Now this here actually just put out a vine over the last 2 months, and this vine is actually rather thick. Put out one leaf. The leaf somehow didn't unfurl, but I think the leaf was stuck up there. And now the second one is even more stuck. Look at this. This is like so bad. This is extremely bad. So I'm so sorry for like neglecting you and leaving you like this. But this is what happens with some of these green walls. But this is actually going to give me some babies after all. So I don't mind this. I already have enough young new plants to start over. So I'm just gonna keep this on this wall for now. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave that be. I don't know, when this happens, usually this next vine here, oh yeah, this one has already put out a growing eye. But this one might put out another growing eye. So somehow one of them is gonna find its way up this wall. This is what happens in nature, by the way. They're always like trying to find the right places to grow. Sometimes they just get stuck. I can comment a little bit about the Keiki Paste. It does help, in my opinion, with these activation of the growing eyes. It does. But when you have a plant like this, where there's many growing eyes trying to sprout at once, they might be competing for nutrients and light and things like that. So use it if you must, but just keep in mind that it will overall be slower to propagate, but you will get more plants out of it. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. I enjoy making these types of content so much. And stay tuned for more. Do subscribe if you haven't, and consider sending this video a like and do comment down below so that YouTube can recommend videos like this to other plant lovers like yourself. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Is anyone there?
All right, if you're still here, that probably means one of 2 things. Either you really enjoyed the episode, in which case I really implore for you to please send the video a like and do comment down below. YouTube really heavily rewards creators that have strong engagements, and it will push my videos to other plant lovers like yourself. Or maybe you've got your hands dirty with laundry, or you're washing dishes, or you're putting away things and you didn't have the hands to click away from this video, in which case I apologize. apologize because I'm gonna keep talking. Now, being a content creator these days, it's getting harder and harder, and ad revenues are going down, and I really want to make this my full-time job to create wonderful content for you guys. And I've given up a lot of wonderful opportunities so I can stay here on YouTube. So if you'd like to support the channel financially, there are two ways, but if you don't, that's okay as well. Just watching these videos give me tremendous support. So keep on watching. And for the rest of you who are doing well and you have extra means to donate, you can do so with my Patreon, or you can join my YouTube member. Click join on the members tab here. And in both cases, you will get bonus contents. And these are all mini bite-sized adventures, repotting, and like little shopping sprees. And I've also uploaded a resource of all the sellers in Southeast Asia that I've visited. They are usually reputable sellers and they do export. So whether you are looking into plants as a customer, or if you're a business that are looking to import plants from Asia, these are really wonderful resources that's only open to members. And for YouTube members, you also have early access to some of these episodes. And for those of you who do not want to commit to a monthly situation, you could also do a one-time donation by sending a super thanks over here on YouTube. Now, I've actually done a ton of videos, and chances are you might have missed out some of them. So in my playlist section, I have categorized them by categories like propagation videos, care videos, and adventures. And you can maybe look through at some of the older videos as a means to support the channel, because I really do think that there are some content out there that I've done that you might have missed that you would find interesting. But I'm really going to bid you farewell this time. Thank you again for watching this all the way to the very end. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.